Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing my monthly review for this month's issue of the Walking Dead comic book series. This is for issue 173. It's called Final Fight. And spoiler warning, if you guys have not read this issue yet, you'll want to read it and want to pick it up before you watch this review. Unless you don't care, then, I'm going to spoil some of the events in the issue for you. Well, all of them, really. So, Final Fights. This was a pretty anticipated issue, I want to say. The cover is really cool. We've got Jesus on the cover, who's kind of bloodied up and is clearly, in a fight stance here against, if you read issue 172, what looked like was going to be Beta. And in this one, we get confirmation that, yes, in fact, it was Beta. And a very small group of Whisperers that kind of attack Jesus and Aaron. So not many of them. We have seen the Whisperers in huge number. We know that they lost quite a few in number, but we didn't know at this time how many they had that were left. After the events of the Whisperer War. It doesn't look like they really have that many left in their ranks. It seems like they might be, I want to say a lot weaker, but, they don't seem to be nearly as formidable as they were before. So it seems like maybe in the Whisperer War they did lose, the majority, the bulk of their army, and now at this time are kind of more like a small group, maybe a dozen, 2 dozen, but it's really hard to tell because we don't know if there's other Whisperers in other locations, and if Beta just brought a few with him, thinking he'd be able to take out Jesus and Aaron, with just a few of them, maybe a small pack, including himself, would be enough to take them down. But what he finds out is that it actually isn't, and this one goes kind of opposite to how you would think. So going into this issue, I think a lot of us thought that one of the two, of Jesus or Aaron, was going to be killed off in this issue. I personally did. Because it seemed like Beta had the jump on them. We know how strong Beta is. We know how big he is. We know he's pretty fast as well, too, which Jesus actually comments about in this issue, that he is actually pretty damn fast as well. He's not just big and strong and good with the knives, but he's actually quick, too. He can move very fast. So it's an exciting fight at the beginning of this issue. We see Beta take a swipe at Jesus first, and Jesus dodges it, and we get to see Jesus fight in a way that, reminds me a bit of Tom Paine from the Walking Dead television series, which is where you see him being very, very tricky, very elusive. So, you have Beta who's trying to land on him, can barely land. He lands on him once on one of his forearms, but it doesn't seem to be, he's bleeding, but it doesn't look like it's too bad, like he didn't cut his hand off or something. So we actually see, which is very surprising, this one, is Jesus and Aaron counter this small pack of Whisperers and actually take them out. You've got very exciting scene where, they're able to kind of, it looks like Jesus is in a really bad way. It looks like he might be, meeting his end, as Beta's kind of, full mount or on top of him, and he's kind of, wrestling with his rifle to hold back the knives, when Aaron is able to pull a shot off, which lands on Beta, and basically stops him. So puts him down, and then they finish off the rest of the Whisperers that have attacked, and then they pretty much take off Beta's skin, Whisper skin, zombie skin mask, and then they see that he is, we don't know him because there's really nobody in the Walking Dead comic book series. Like when you think about it, like the question is, who is Beta, who is he, this kind of thing. Well, there's really no characters that we have had that have left that were, that stature. So I kind of like what they did with this one here, which is that he's recognizable to Jesus and Aaron. They know who he is because he's, so huge and everything. And it turns out that he's some kind of a basketball player that was in maybe a movie or something, or a couple movies, this kind of deal. One of these type of actors, like like a wrestler or something that maybe does a movie. Maybe like Kevin Nash or something that was in Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, if you guys remember, he was a wrestler. Or like Kane, who's in See No Evil. One of these, big kind of guys. And actually, Kevin Nash did play basketball, too, before he went into to wrestling. Pro wrestling. I don't say fake wrestling. Wrestling entertainment, that kind of thing. So, so I thought that was kind of cool because I was wondering what he was going to do with that, seeing as how, there's nobody that we know the Beta could be to have it make sense. So it'd have to be somebody in their world that's recognizable to them. So I like that. I thought that was kind of cool that that he used it that way, where they understand who it is. They kind of know who it is in their world. But for us, of course, we don't have any idea who this is. But it was still cool. But, some questions with it, too. Because at first he's not breathing. Then he kind of, comes back to life and says, no name, that kind of thing. Like, I don't have a name type of deal. And, it seems like they kind of leave him there. Because they're not sure if he's breathing. We're not sure if he's dead or alive. But it's pretty clear in the issue that they don't finish him off from the looks of things. It's not like they go right up to him. Jesus goes right up to him and shoots him in the head and then takes him. Like puts him on on a horse and then rides back, because you'd want to show Maggie, maybe the Hilltop, that the Whisper War truly is over, because you've just killed their new leader. So we're not really sure right now. I'm personally not sure if there's going to be a future for the Whisperers, or if this is the end. It is called Final Fight, but is this the end for the Whisperers? I tend to think probably not. I would think that because they kind of left him there, maybe Beta can come back in the story. Maybe he can survive on further. But it is called Final Fight, so. It's one of those kind of sayings, at least with TV shows or in a movie. If you don't see them dead 100%, then assume they're not. Assume they're under a dumpster somewhere or something. And even sometimes if you do see them die, even sometimes that doesn't work, right? So, really good question for this one for you guys, and I want you to write your comments below. Do you think that Beta is dead 100%? This is truly the final Whisperer fight. Or do you think that no, because Jsus and Aaron kind of left him there carelessly, that he'll somehow manage to, get back to it, survive, and then maybe find some of the others, and then maybe start to rebuild again when they're more ready, and we could see him be a villain again in the future. That's kind of what I'm thinking, but again, the damn issue is called Final Fight, and they were questioning whether or not he was breathing, and it did seem like he was dying at that point. So it's always tough with those, right? With the deaths, where it's like you're not sure. But I tend to think that, if it was a full-on death, it would probably be done in such a fashion where it would leave no question whether or not he was dead. So it's kind of like spoiler warning in the comic book series, the Gabriel death with the water tower. There's no question in that one that yes, Gabriel is dead. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. He's dead. So that's kind of where I think with this one, it's like, it seems like he's dead, but he's probably not dead, or the question is at least left open. So maybe if he wants to use him again in the future, he can bring Beta back as part of the Whisperers. But it seems like the Whisperers might be pretty much at their end now. It looks like they're pretty much, to the point of maybe no return in terms of power, and we'll have to see if maybe ever they come back in as a major threat again. Right now, it seems just like a minor threat, and especially if you have like their leader as well as a few of them attacking just two members in the dark at night, and they're not able to take down Jsus and Aaron. They're able to actually lose to them. It doesn't seem like they're that formidable. But I did kind of like it. And if you look at the TV series version with Daryl, you've got Jsus, who he's so tricky that that's kind of a nice setup for this character in the comics, where, when Daryl's kind of going after him, Daryl like punches him out, right, and everything. But at the same time, it's kind of like Jsus does get the gun on him. He doesn't pull the trigger, but because he's not like that. But if it was against a Whisperer, somebody where he was going to pull the trigger, you could definitely see the bigger guy like Daryl, who's there in front of him, that goes to punch him. Next thing you know, the gun goes off and freaking takes him out or something. You can see how tricky he is and how good he is at movement and everything like that. Beta makes for a big target. So you could see a David versus Goliath type of battle here, where maybe David wins this one because he's got a gun. Goliath's a big target, lots of space to hit, and is able to kind of land a shot on him. So. For sure, fights are different when you start adding in, guns and things like this, right? Of course, or big knives. But it was exciting. It was a really exciting sequence, and it went totally, opposite to what I was expecting. I was expecting to see a kind of resurgence of the Whisperers here, but it looks like we're actually seeing the opposite. We're actually seeing maybe further decimation of the Whisperers, and I'm still hoping they'll kind of come back as a major threat, because I think they're great villains. They're really, really cool to see, but. Really, really interesting here. So maybe some guerrilla tactics. This is kind of like a guerrilla tactic thing for them, but it doesn't work. And it says, we won't let you both live, not before we're ready for you. So it looks like they were preparing, but they weren't ready. I am assuming there's other Whisperers out there, and I think Beta is going to survive. So maybe we can do post-review predictions for this one, the future for the Whisperers, but I do think that Beta is going to survive in this one. But write your comments. You guys could see it the opposite way, and, plead your case as to why you think he's dead. Because it does, you can see it either way for sure. There's really no right or wrong here, I don't think, based on what's in the issue. So we got that. We've got the map where you've got the Negan N for Maggie and Dante, which is funny that Dante is kind of confused because she's not yelling at him loudly right when he just comes in. So that's funny. She's thinking about probably what to do with Negan still, and if she wants to go after him and send some people after him to kill him. And defy Rick in that way. So we'll have to see what she decides to do. So far she hasn't, which is good. You've got Carl, who goes to help Sophia, where Lydia gets jealous because he's helping her. So I really like that. That's actually surprisingly one of my favorite scenes in the issue. And right now, that's one of my favorite kind of mini little story arcs that's going between Carl and his love triangle with Sophia and Lydia. I really like it a lot. I think in The Walking Dead, to get to see character drama like that is always great. And it's different, of course, than in reality, because in The Walking Dead, somebody can die. Like Lydia might get jealous and attack Sophia, and who knows how that fight would go down and who would survive and how Carl would feel afterwards if the two are fighting over him. And you see an opposite situation to the Lori, Rick, Shane triangle. You see a Carl, Sophia, Lydia triangle where the girls go at it. And I think that'd be awesome. Who's going to win? I'm voting for Sophia. I'm hoping Sophia takes it. So that's another one. You guys can write your comments below. How do you feel about the love triangle? And which girl are you backing? Who are you backing for Carl? Right? It's fun stuff. Then we got Eugene's group, who is almost at the meeting place. They're traveling through some hilly area, mountains, this kind of stuff it looks like. And eventually they do make it there, and we finish off the issue with them. Put your weapons down and put your hands in the air. So basically, with all the lights that go on in the an area with some train cars around, which is kind of cool, reminds me of Terminus. And so they're looking for Stephanie, of course, who was Eugene's contact, but it's starting to look like right now that maybe it's a trap. It's a trap. So, but again, because there's not enough substance there for us to really do much in the way of predictions on, it certainly looks like a trap right now, but they could just be taking precautions because they don't know what Eugene and his group are possibly up to. It also is possible, though, that the Stephanie character, maybe that's her job to lure others in, and we'll have to see if this group is good or bad. We really don't know if they have good intentions or bad intentions right now. If they're going to capture, Eugene and the others, there's just... right now, we'll have to see what this stormtrooper wielding, the zombie apocalypse stormtrooper group is all about. So we'll see. So excited for that. Then we've got the Whisper Camp part where you have Mike and Josh are a couple of their names, some new recruits for the Whispers, right? So there's some new recruits for the Whispers. The Whispers are taking them in, and basically they're not liking it. They're thinking like, wait, we have to give up our names. We have to wear this. We have to do this all the time. I'm not sure. They're just him and Han. They're not sure about it. And then Jsus and Aaron kind of come in and save them, and tell them that there's a joint communities here, and we're more civilized. We're not like animals like the Whispers. So and they're pretty much joining them right away. They're like, oh yeah, or we're in for sure. Better than doing this. Do you wear zombie skins and stuff? It's like, no, okay, we're in. Because that is kind of, you could see how that's freaky to like a teenager, that kind of thing. So there's that. We've got Laura, who kind of breaks up with Dwight, or at least she's had enough with Dwight because he's just, he's constantly kind of miserable no matter what the situation is. He's kind of mad at Rick for what happened. But, again, with her, she's like, why do you care about Sherry when she didn't care about you, and Laura does care about him, and Laura hasn't screwed him over, done anything wrong to him, and yet he's so preoccupied and focused with this prior relationship that she's just almost had enough of it. So I actually kind of like that one. I like Laura. I think she's a good character, and I'd like to see her kind of help Dwight, maybe get over some of the stuff that happened, and be in good standing with Rick again. And we have Rick saying goodnight to Andrea. So that's pretty much everything that is included with the issue. In terms of score, I'm going to give it a 9.1. It's an exciting start to the issue. Some good questions for the future about the Whispers and whether or not they're done or if they might make a comeback. Some exciting stuff with the, put your hands in the air, new group. And then maybe my favorite stuff is just simply Carl's girl problems. That's fun. So let me know what you guys thought about the issue. Write your comments below. And if you like this review, if you like this video, please thumb it up below. You can share, you can favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe to the channel, bottom left is subscribe. Put on your subscribing pants. And I'll see you guys back again maybe tomorrow or maybe the next day for another Walking Dead video. I've been doing tons this week, all about Morales and stuff. So lots of videos on the channel. If you guys haven't seen them all, I'll post them in the videos here for you. That's it for this one. See you guys again soon for another video. As always, it's Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.